evening, we'll be discussing Power BI. We're starting Power BI this evening, and of course, we know a lot about data now, so it will make it a bit fast, right? I don't know if how many of us have installed Power BI. I said we're going to install Power BI during the week, but I didn't see anybody reach out to me. How many of us have been able to install Power BI?
No,
I have.
sir.
I have.
Awesome. Now, Susan, did you work? Madam Susan, can you hear me? All right. So I'm going to take us through the whole installation process, right? For those who have not installed, right? We'll start from installation, right? We'll start from installation for those who have not installed, right? So basically, to install Power BI, there are two ways to install it, right? The fastest way would be to install from your Microsoft Store. Microsoft Store. Can you see my icon? You'll see Microsoft Store here, right? If you can't find it here on your taskbar here, you go to your Windows, you go to all apps, you go to M, and you should find Microsoft Store. Can you see Microsoft Store? That's your store. So once you click on it, the store should come out. Power BI is a Microsoft application, hence it does not work on Apple. Are you following me? So it does not work on Apple, right? It does not work on Apple. Microsoft Power BI desktop does not work on Apple computers. It only works on Windows system. So when you come to your store, can you see my store? Right? Can you see my store? Right. When you come to your store, here now you want to what? Download. You want to look for Power BI. Right? Can you see Power BI desktop? Can you see Power BI desktop? Is what you're looking for. Click on it. That's Power BI desktop. Awesome. So you should get an interface like this. You should get an interface like this that tells you everything that you need to know. Are you following me? Right. So from here, you can click on now. Because I have installed mine, that's why I have open. If you have not installed yours, what you would see there is get. Get. So once it said get, once it says get, you click on get and it will download and install the Power BI desktop for you automatically. I hope you are following me. So I'm going to click on mine, say open. Now, some people might not have a very current, what's it called now? Microsoft Store application, right? So you can go to Google and say Power BI download. Power BI download. Hope you're following me. All right, so you're going to see powerbi.microsoft.com/en-us/download. So I'm going to just click on that. All right. So here we're looking for Power BI, right? You see download. Right? Can you see download? This download will take you to the store, right? Which is what is not what we want, right? Can you see? It to take you to the store, right? But we need the advanced option, right? So when you click on the advanced option, you click on advanced option, there you'll be able to download the application itself. All right, you'll be able to download the application itself. So you click on download here, right? So you can click on either 32-bit or 64-bit. This is the 64-bit Power BI desktop setup _ x64.exe, right? So you can click on this and you can go ahead to what? So say click on next and your download will start. Right? Your download will start. Can you see? So can you see it's picking up now? Even though I've installed already. All right, so that is how to download Power BI. Right? So you can download Power BI yourself. You can download Power BI yourself. It's a straightforward installation to use Power BI. Power BI is very important, and like I said, it's a visualization tool. I hope you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
I can hear you.
Awesome. All right, so getting my Power BI up. Now, Power BI is a very heavy application, right? It's a very heavy application. So if you need.
Sorry, Mr. Shaw, please, is the class being recorded?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
It is. Yes, ma'am. So Power BI is a very heavy application. So it needs a lot of RAM system to run, right? So if your RAM is very low, right, you would have issues opening it up, right? You have issues opening it up, all right? So Power BI is coming up, right? Even my system, of course, it runs fast on my system, but because of the light issue, right, it's dragging my system at the moment. But yeah, it is up. It is up. So if you have your Power BI, you can also launch it up. Let's understand the platform itself or the application itself. If you have yours installed, let's start. If you don't have yours installed yet, you can start installing, right? You can install. We'll just get into it right away. All right, so when you install your Power BI, this is what you would see. This is the Power BI interface, right? It will ask you to log in. You have to sign in. You don't have to sign in, right? Because Power BI does not use our regular emails. It will ask you for an email for a company. You cannot use Power BI with your Gmail or your Outlook or all of those regular emails. It would ask you for either a student email or a work email, right? So that's why, can you see, it's asking me for my email, right? So I don't have to. So I don't have to, it's asking me for email. to register my account. I don't have to do that. I can just say maybe later. Don't show this again. Oops, right? I'm not ready to do that. Right? So this is the Power BI application. This is the Power BI application. Right? If you look at it, it looks regular, looks like a regular Microsoft application. Most Microsoft applications, they have the same interface, right? They have the same interface. So we're going to learn about the interface and we're going to move on from there, right? People are just joining class now. All right, so we're going to learn about the interface, then we'll move on, right? So first of all, like a regular Excel or Microsoft Word interface, you have your you have your status, you have your title bar, right? This is the title bar. Can you see my cursor? The first bar here where you have Untitled Power BI Desktop, that is the title bar. Here is where the name of the where the name of the project or the document you're working on, where it's going to be saved. After you have saved it, that's where it's going to appear, right? Then you have your sign-in bar here that says you can sign in, you can minimize, you can close, and you can maximize your window, right? Then what we have is also the menu bar, which also has below it the ribbon, right? The menu bar from file, right? File to home, to insert, right? To modeling, to view, to optimize, to help, right? All of these are menus, right? And these menus, when you click on them, they unwrap a ribbon, right? And a ribbon is a collection of related functions, right? It's a collection of related functions, right? Grouped into segments. So here you have the clipboard, you have the data, you have the queries, you have the inserts, then we have calculations, then we have sensitivity, and we have share, right? That is in the home, right? So those are a group of related functions. Are you following me? All right. So group of related functions is what we have in your home. Then in insert, what we want to insert a new page, a new visual, more visuals, a key influencer, the position tree, decomposition tree, smart. You want to a whole lot of things that you want to insert. You want to use Power Platforms. You want to use with element of text, objects, shapes, and all of that. Then you want to insert the sparkline. All of these comes with insert. Then in the modeling, right? If you understand when we did data modeling in Power BI, right? You can also do modeling here, which is connecting your tables together, right? You can create and do your modeling from here and manage your relationships from here. Also here, you have the Power BI security, right? How you can secure and manage your interfaces, right? We also those have the view. The view basically tells you if you want to use a theme. If you want to use a theme is basically a set of colors that you can use to design your reports, right? So you can change your theme here. Then you can change the view, your page view, right? You can change your page view. You can even create and look at your view. You can look at your report in a mobile form, right? You can do a whole lot. You can filter, you can bookmark, and so on and so forth from the view. Then you can optimize your reports, right? By performance, by looking at the visuals and refreshing the visuals when more data comes in. You can optimize precepts, right? Using interactive query reduction and so on and so forth, right? Just helping you make sure that your presets or your queries or your reports run fast, right? You can optimize your analyzer and so on and so forth. You can add slicer buttons and so on, right? And of course, a beautiful one is the help, right? The help for Power BI is a very robust environment, right? Where you can learn Power BI by yourself, right? You can learn everything that you need to understand Power BI is in this environment, right? You can check about Power BI to give you information about the version of Power BI you're working with. right? Can you see? I'm using a May 2023 version, right? This is my user ID, right? This is my section ID. Every section, your ID is change, right? And so on and so forth, right? Then we have guided learning. It says learn how to accomplish tasks and use different functions in Power BI. So you can use this to learn. These are training videos with experts on YouTube. This would take you to YouTube. If you click on it, that's what you see. It's linking me to YouTube already. All right, so I'm in YouTube. I'm on YouTube already. Right from Power BI, it's going to take me to a guy in a cube. All right, so Power BI. Okay, this is Power BI. This is the Power BI platform, so you can learn Power BI from here as well. You can follow all the activities that comes with Power BI from here. Can you see a whole lot of learning can be done from here? So you can learn Power BI from the Power BI environment itself. Right, you can training videos. You can check on documentations to see documents about Power BI. You can ask for support, right? Documentations and support. Are you following me? I hope you can hear me. Right, so you can check on support. You can check the Power BI blog posts, right? Yeah, the Power BI blog. You can join the community, learn, connect, share with experts and peers in the Power BI community, right? You can join the community of Power BI users, right? You can do that, right? You can also Power BI for developers. This is for developers. You can check what is happening here to see the code lines and all that behind Power BI, right? Let's see. So this is Power BI for developers, right? How to use embedded views and so on and so forth, right? This is more of coding and all of that, right? Power BI using Power BI APIs and all of that. So basically, this is not covered in this class, right? Then you can submit an idea if you have an idea to make Power BI or improve Power BI, right? You can submit an idea, right? Microsoft is open to learning from you. Then you can also you have external tools that help you set up Power BI, right? You can check external tools that you can use to make your Power BI work better, right? So this basically, right, external tools and all that, semantic modeling, and so on and so forth. So basically, right, you have a whole lot of resource from Power BI. You have a lot of resource from Power BI already, right? You can check on examples, right? You can see sample data set that you can use, sample reports, community gallery. We can see what people have done, showcase, partner showcase. You can see what other developers, other companies are doing. Let's see a bit of example. Let's see a bit of sample report. Right. All right. So basically, we want to look at sample reports, so you can see a lot of articles here. This is 8th of March 2023, right? A whole lot of, can you see? Sales and return sample, right? This is a sales data. I hope you can see this is a sales data from a company. And this is the analysis on Power BI, right? So this is a really nice visual, right? You can go down, see more, right? So these are the kind of things that you want to start creating. Being able to use Power BI to tell stories from your data, right? Being able to use Power BI to tell stories, right? These are all that you can look at, right? You can look at a whole lot of stuff from here and just enjoy, just learn from what people have created and all of that, right? So basically, right, from here, you can see artificial intelligence samples, right? You can see COVID samples as well there, right? You want to see artificial intelligence samples. So just go through the business case, go through the data, and you can replicate what they have done. Average, this is on average, when discount increases, the likelihood of status, like the likelihood of status being what? One increases, right? So these are different reports. These are different reports. Key influencers, top segment, closed by profits category, revenue won by product, and so on and so forth. So you can see a whole lot of of visuals from here, right? This is the PIBX. You can download it, right? Let me see if you can. Hold on, I'm coming. Trying to show you different reports that we have. Sorry, it's coming up. It's coming up. If you have not installed, I know that more people have joined us in class. If you have not installed your Power BI, please raise up your hand. Let me see. Raise up your hand if you have not installed your Power BI. All right, so basically, these are some of my visuals that I have here. These are some of the ones that I created before. Let me see which one we can use here. I don't think this was created by me, but let me see what we have in there. All right, I just want to show you a bit of what is possible. Today, we're just introducing ourselves to Power BI. All paid features of Power BI are yours for 60 days. Thank you.
Oh, you did.
All right, let's load in the report. All right, can you see? These are several reports that have been generated from data from, this data came in from GitHub. Can you see? Pull request by month, total hours of pull by month, labels. Can you see? Different labels. This is total pull by users, how users have what? The user that uses GitHub the most, average hours per to pull by month. All of these are multiple reports that came in from that particular data. So this is basically a dashboard. This is kind of things that we're trying to create more insight like this. So from here, you can begin to see insights into your data. You can begin to see insights into your data. Can you see? You can begin to filter as well and do a whole lot of stuff from here. So this is basically what the Power BI interface is. But what I'm using presently is the Power BI. We'll talk about it as we proceed. Is the Power BI Internet Service, right? Power BI Internet Service. If you look at it, this Power BI report is opening as a web browser, right? We'll talk about all of that as we proceed. So basically, right, these are analysis, right? This is basically an analysis. So what you have done, of course, there's an underlying data that supports all of this, right? That supports these and analysis. There's underlying data that supports this analysis, right? So our ability to be able to use this application to be able to interact with data and tell story from it is very important, right? So at the end of the day, like I said, this is what we're trying to create. So I'm going to go back to my Power BI desktop, right? So I've explained all that we have on the menus to you. Now, let's continue. In Power BI, we have three views, right? We have three views in Power BI, right? We have three different views in Power BI, three different views in Power BI. The first view, if you look at my left-hand side, can you see my cursor? I hope everybody can see. You see the report view, then we have what we call the data view, then we have the model view. Everything that you want to do is done in these three views, right? The reports view, the data view, and the model view, right? The report view, the data view, and the report view. If you remember when we were, for those who were in my Excel class, you will discover when we're talking about Power Query, right? You see that Power Query has something similar to this. You have the report view, you have the visual, you have the model view, right? So basically, this is your report view. The report view basically is where you draw your visuals, right? Can you see your filters here? We'll talk about all of these as we proceed. These are filters, how you filter your charts and all of that. These are visuals, right? The kinds of charts that are possible. There's more, right? The kinds of charts that are possible that you can use in Power BI. You can also design or format your charts from here. And of course, you can see all of your data, right? The data that you load into Power BI to generate visuals on. You see them here. So basically, this is where your report shows forth, right? This is where this white space here is where your report would be displayed like you have in this instance. Can you see? So you can see what we have here. You can see that I have the filters. I have this is the report view, right? I have the report view as well here. So basically, that is the platforms are almost the same. So here is where your visuals will show, right? Then you have what we call the data view. This is the data view here. The data view, all of your data would show from here. So here you can see all of your data. You can see all of it. If you look at your report view, right, you have a whole lot of menus, right? All your menus are activated for the report view. But if you go to your your data view, you only have getting data. The data the home view is the home menu is what you have, right? So here you can get data. You can do all sorts with bringing your data in, right? You can bring in your data, you can transform your data, and you can load your data. We'll talk about all of that as we proceed. Then we have the model view. The model view is where we connect our data together. Of course, we did modeling in what's called. We did modeling in in SQL, right? Leveraging the power of primary key and foreign key. And right here, you'll be using that same kind of knowledge, right, to be able to determine or to be able to draw out something like this. So basically, that's what the model view is all about. Please let me know if you understood all that I've said before I proceed. I'm waiting for responses, please. All right. Are these people who understand everything that I've said? If you have questions, please ask your question now. All right. Ebuka, do you have a question?
No, sir, I was raising my hand to say that I understand.
Okay. Viola, I can see your hand. So,
So I understand it.
awesome. Awesome. All right. Let us proceed, right? All right. So, in Power BI, right, there are 5 things that we want to look at. There are 5 basic things that I want to look at in Power BI. And if you have your jotters, you can write them down. Right. We want to look at connecting and shaping data. Right. We want to look at connecting and shaping data. We want to look at creating models. We want to look at data analysis expression, which is DAX. We want to look at building reports. So those are the 4 major topics, actually. There are 4 of them that we want to look at, right? Connecting and shaping data.
Can you go over it again?
Connecting and shaping data. Yes, I'm doing that now. Connecting and shaping data. Connecting and shaping data. Right? Creating models is the next one. Creating models, the next one. Creating models is the next one. Then followed by data analysis expression. Data analysis expression. That's DAX, DAX, data analysis expression. And lastly, building reports.
Okay, that's 4.
Yes, there are 4 of them. I did a mistake in mentioning that there are 5. There are 4
So please, can you go over that again?
Connecting and shaping data is the first one. Connecting and shaping data is the first one. The second one, third one is data analysis expression, DAX. DAX. We call it DAX, data analysis expression. The fourth one is building reports. Building reports. Are we good now?
Yes, sir.
Are we good now? All right. So also I need to let you know that data analysis, right? Power BI with data analysis or data analysis with Power BI, right? Power BI is not the only application that does visualizations, right? There's from the top of my head, there's over 20 to 30 of them, right? We have, of course, Microsoft as the leading company there, which is Microsoft Power BI. Then you have Tableau, right? Tableau, I don't know if you have heard about Tableau. Tableau is also very, 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 is as popular as Power BI, right? Then we have MicroStrategy as another one. We have QuickLeak as another one, right? We have Tyson, we have Salesforce, we have ThoughtSpot, we have SAS, we have SAPs. IBM also has their own, right? Oracle has their own visuals as well. We have Looker. Looker is another one, and so on and so forth, right? Then you have Google BigQuery and the like. So there's a whole lot of applications. Of course, Excel itself has its own visualization as well, right? Excel as a player in data also has its own visuals as well. So you can see that there are several visualization app, right? There are several visualization app, right? R and Python also has theirs, right? In R, you use ggplot2, we use Shiny, and so on and so forth, right? In Python, right, you use Matplotlib, you use Seaborn, and so on and so forth, right? So there are several applications, visualization applications that is possible, right? In R, there's also what we call R compensation. Yes, right. I think R compensation. Let me check R compensation. Right. So you see all of these are present. All right, but in all of that, right, our Power BI seems to be one of the biggest applications. That is why we're paying attention to Power BI. It seems to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest. Our companion, not our compensation, our companion. Right. So Power BI seems to be the biggest, the biggest player in the field. So Power BI is a standalone Microsoft. So you can jot this down if you want, right? I'm defining Power BI now, right? I'm defining what Power BI is, right? If you are asked to define Power BI, what would you define it as, right? So Power BI is a standalone Microsoft business intelligence product. I'll say that again. Power BI is a standalone Microsoft business intelligence product, which includes the desktop, the web-based applications for loading, modeling, and visualizing data, right? Let me see if I can put this on a visual for you.
Sir.
Just hold on. I know.
Okay.
I'm going to give it to you now. Yeah. Just can you see my screen? So Power BI is a standalone Microsoft business intelligence product. Can you see what I typed on my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Can everybody see?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can, sir.
Which includes both desktop and web. So I showed you the desktop application is what I've been using since, right? Where I showed you that visual is the web application, right? So Power BI desktop, there's Power BI desktop. The Power BI product includes we have Power BI mobile app. Right? So these are the three components of the Power BI application: the Power BI desktop, the Power BI internet service, and the Power BI mobile app. right? The Power BI desktop basically is this application that I showed you here, the one that you download on the system to create your visuals, right? That is your desktop, right? A desktop really does not need internet, right? You can create your applications on it without the internet, right? But when you're going to share that report with people, right? When you're going to share, if you're going to share the report with people, then you need to use what's the Power BI internet service, right? We'll see all of this as we proceed in our lecture. Then, if you want to, right, you can also share that same application or that same product report that you have on the Power BI mobile, which you can use and see visuals on your mobile phones or to see reports on your mobile phones on your iPad or your tabs, right? So you can see these are the three products that comes with the Power BI product, right? So Power BI is a business intelligence product which includes both desktop and web applications, right? For now, what does it do? It helps us load data. It helps us with modeling of data, and it helps us with data visualization of data. So it does three things, right? You load your data in as queries. You can create model, right? Remember relationships using primary keys and foreign keys on your data. And at the end of the day, you're able to write create reports, visual reports on those data, right? That is the essence of Power BI, right? So Power BI is important, right? So Power BI can connect, transform, and analyze millions of rows, right? Remember that we said that in Excel has a limit of 1,048,576 or 96 rows, right? But in Power BI does not have limits, right? Power BI can manage as much as 25 million rows of data, right? Because now we'll talk about why. Power BI does not load data in like Excel. Excel tries to play the role of a database, right? Such that the engine of Excel can keep data for a while, right? But you can harness the power of Power Pivots, right? Which is what both Power BI and Excel uses, right? You can harness the power of what? Of Power Pivots, right? Power Pivots is that application that connects both, that is common between both Power BI and Excel, right? And that application can help you load data in. It's actually an ETL application. It's an extract, transform, load application, right? So which means that with Power BI and Excel, you can extract, you can transform, and you can load data, right? But when you want to unleash the power of working with multiple rows of data, millions of rows, right? You have to engage in Excel. You have to engage the Power Pivot row. But in Power BI, it is the standard row. It is the standard situation or the standard tool to use, right? Power Pivot is the standard tool to use. So with Power Pivot, you can work with multiple rows, right? You can work with multiple rows in Excel. So you can assess I'll show you how to do all of this. You can assess any type of data, right? You can access any type of data virtually anywhere, right? Be it a database, we can connect. I think we'll do an example of connecting our database to our Power BI to SQL, to our MySQL. Since we have done SQL, right? We'll look at how to connect Power BI to SQL to generate or to get data from it, right? You can connect it to flat files. Flat files are basically your CSV files, right? You can connect it to cloud services, right? You can connect your Power BI to cloud services. I'll show you all of this. You can connect it to a folder, right? And you can create fully automated data shaping and loading procedures right by doing this, right? I'll show you all of this, right? So with Power BI, you can connect, you can transform and analyze millions of rows of data, right? Another thing that you can do with Power BI is that you can build relational models, right? That's to blend data from multiple sources. So if you get your data from multiple sources, you can create an holistic model, right? That leverages stable relationship, and this stable relationship can be used to analyze holistic performance, right, across the entire model. So you are connecting data models together, and you are creating data models based by connecting your tables together using relationship. And with those relationships, you can write queries and create reports that cut across multiple tables, right? that cut across your entire data model, right? You're linking 5, 10, 15 tables together, and you're creating reports that are detailed reports that takes into cognizance, into considerations, right, variables and features from different tables, right, all connected together because there's a relationship amongst them, and this relationship helps you tell a story across the data, right? Then we also we can use Power BI to define complex calculations using what we call the data analysis expression, right? So you can enhance data and enable advanced analytics, right, with power of portable DAX expression. So you can create the same way we write, we use formulas and functions in Excel. It's the same way we use those formulas and functions, right? Some of them are also very important here, and we have some of them here in Power BI. So the same way we use average and all of that in Excel is the same way we use them here. And we also have several other functions. All of this coming together to form what we call a DAX, or to what we call DAX. DAX is called data analysis expression. So it's like actually what you are writing with DAX is that you're writing what we call M codes, right? We'll talk about all of this as we proceed. I hope you are following me, right? So you can also create visuals, right? You can visualize data with interactive reports and dashboards, right? The essence, which is what people capitalize a lot on Power BI, right? When you hear Power BI, of course, it's a visualization app, right? So, and that's the main purpose, right? The underlying engine in all of this is to be able to create relationships, bring in the data itself, right? Of course, you cannot do a report if you don't bring the data in, right? Once the data is in, you want to make sense out of the data, abstractions, generalizations, using your relationships, right, and models. So you create a model from the data, and once that is done, right, what do? You are able to generate reports and interactive dashboards. These dashboards can interact with each other to tell you a better story about your data. Right, so Power BI is intuitive. It's very intuitive. It's powerful, and yes, it's absolutely free to get started. But you can also pay some money, right, to unlock the full power of Power BI. Right, so Power BI is an industry leader, right? It's one of the best, right? It's one of the best outside there. Right? Are you following me? I hope we are following. I hope we are following. Please let me know if you are following.
We're following. Thank you.
We are following, sir.
All right. So once again, all right. So let me show you. I think I have a bit of projects here, even though they're not fully created yet. I've not brought my other projects into here. But let's see if we have hold on. I want to open a project. Let me look for it. I want to open a project to you to see what Power BI is capable of. Sorry, I'm coming. I'm looking for a particular report. Sorry. One minute, please. I can't seem to find it. Well, okay, I'll look for it and show us tomorrow. I'll look for it and show us tomorrow. I can't seem to find that report. Can't seem to find the report. Sorry. All right, I can't find it. I'll look for it. I'll show you tomorrow. I'll show you tomorrow. Right? Let's look at sorry. Can't find it. All right. So we've dealt with the introduction to Power BI, right? We've dealt with introduction to Power BI. Let me do something here. This is not complete. This is not complete yet. I just want to show you. There's a particular data that we've been working with that I want to show you. Some of you are familiar with the data. The sales executive reporting data. All right, I think I did something. I'm not sure if I finished it. I think it's trying to open. Just give it some minutes to open up. All right, while that is coming up. So the next thing we want to talk about, right? We want to pick those 4 modules or those 4 topic points that we spoke at that I gave you, right? We want to pick them one after the other now. The first one that we want to talk about is the connecting and shaping data. Connecting and shaping data. Connecting and shaping data. That's what we want to look at, right? This class is very important. Of course, we're not writing plenty codes here, but there's a whole lot of interaction that we have to do with this application. That's why it is essential that all of us install, right, this application before tomorrow. Right, I've showed you. If you come early, I've showed you how to install both applications, or the 2 ways to install the application. Right. So if you have not installed, you can reach out to me. Maybe you were not in class when I showed the installation. The installation is a quite simple installation, right? So you can reach out to me so that we can do your installation. Are you following me? Right. So we want to look at how to connect data, right? How to connect data to your Power BI, right? Now, to connect data to Power BI can connect to virtually any kind of data, right? Let me show you. Power BI can connect to virtually any kind of data, right? There are several ways to do that, right? You can see that. Can you see from here? You can see my thing. It says add data to your report, right? Once loaded, your data will appear in the data pane, right, or the data pane, right? This which is the data to the data pane, right? This is your data view, right? And you would also see your data at this corner. You see, I told you Power BI is a bit heavy, right? Because I'm trying to open a report now, it is dragging my Power BI down a little bit, right? And I use a 16 gig RAM system, so you can imagine what it would do to systems that have lower configurations, right? Even though my system is virtualized, right? But still, it is still dragging my system down. Can you see how long it is taking to open a single report? So Power BI requires a really, really powerful machine to work with, right? To work with. We still try to open up. It's a bit embarrassing.
Please, from where were you importing the data? Is it add data to your report on the, did you select from import data from Excel, or I didn't see that, please?
Okay. No, first of all, what I'm trying to show you at the moment is I'm trying to show you a particular visual that I've created, a particular report that I'm working on, right? But we'll look at how to, I'll show you how to connect your to coming up. All right. Just a minute, please. All right. So we're still talking about how to get data into your Power BI. That's what you have in connecting and shaping data, right? So I said that Power BI can get data from many sources, right? It can work with any kind of source, right? And I said that there are several ways to get your data into Power BI. Are you following me? Right. First, you can go to your file. Are you following me? Can you see the file? You can go to file and click on what? Get data. Can you see get data there? Right. That's one option. Right. You also have another option. You also have another option of clicking on get data here from your home. Right. Can you see get data? Can you see from the home, you see all the sources, right? You can get data from Excel workbook. You can get data from a Power BI data set, from a data workflow, right, or a data flow, right? You can import your data from Dataverse. You can get your data from Dataverse through SQL endpoint, right? You can get your data from, hold on. Serious, man. All right, so you can get your data from, sorry. Right, you can get your data from Dataverse, from SQL Server, that is whatever SQL server that you're using, right? From analysis services, right? SQL analysis services, that's from Microsoft SQL analysis services, from text file or CSV, right? You can get your data from the web, you can get the data from blank queries. There are several applications. If you click on more, right, more will show you all the options of where you can get your data from, right? So there's a whole lot of interfaces where we can get our data from. We'll do an example this night before we close, right, to see how data comes into Power BI. Right? Sorry, I have to close my Power BI. Hold on, just give me a minute. Let me close this. Dragging too much. Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of Power BI. Let me show you. Let me show you what Power BI is doing. Right? Let me show you. Can you see what Power BI is consuming? Can you see? See the amount of memory it is consuming. It's a large application, right? Let me close this store. Are you back now? Let me see if it is responding well now. Okay, we're good, right? So you can see all of these are, I hope you're following me, right? I hope you're following me. Sorry about the breaks in between, right? Was just trying to give Power BI time to come, right? So you can see, you can connect, you can get your data from files. Right? If you click on files, can you see all the possible files that you can get your document from Excel workbook, from text files or CSV files, from XML files. XML is called extension markup language, right? From JSON file, right? You can get your data from there. From folder, we'll work with folder. You can even extract your data from a PDF, right? And of course, we have another application called Parquet, right? Parquet is an application that is more like is faster than CSV. Let me put it that way, right? It's coming up, it's faster than CSV, and of course from Microsoft SharePoint folder, right? If you are connecting to a database, right? If you are connecting to a database, you can get your data from a database. You click on here, you see a list of database that you can work with, right? Can you see SQL Server database, Microsoft Access database, SQL Server analysis, service database, Oracle database. You can connect to an Oracle database. You can connect to an IBM DB2, an IBM Informix database. You can connect to IBM Netezza, right? Of course, our MySQL is here as well. Postgres, Sybase, Terra, SAP ANA database, and so on, and so SAP Data Warehouse Application Server, and so on and so forth. Redshift, Impla, can you see Google BigQuery, Google BigQuery, Azure, Active Directory, Vertical, Snowflakes, a lot of these guys, right? You can use some of these guys are often open source databases. So you can use a Maria database, you can MongoDB, even non-relational databases are here, right? So you can connect to any database, right? All of the databases are here, all of them, right? If you are looking at it now, Microsoft Fabric is a new application. Can you see Microsoft Fabric is here already? It has done an update, and Microsoft Fabric wasn't here before, right? So you can even get data from Microsoft Fabric. I'm just saying this now, right? I'm just saying this, right? You can connect data from Microsoft Fabric, right? It's a preview. They're still working on that. It's not authentic yet. Power BI data, you can Power BI data set from data flow, from data mart. You remember in class, I mentioned Microsoft Fabric to us, I think last week, I think so, right? So Microsoft Fabric has been implemented on Power BI, right? Data warehouse, data lakes, lake houses, and so on and so forth, right? Then, of course, from Power Platforms, right? Data Vast, and so on and so forth. Azure, if you're using Microsoft, what's it called now? Microsoft Cloud System. Microsoft Cloud System is called Azure. So you can connect to all the possible databases that Microsoft has, right? You can connect to all the possible databases, right, that Microsoft has, right? You can see a whole lot of them, a whole lot of services. Now, these are not just databases, these are services as well, right? So, and of course, several other online services. So there is nowhere your data resides that you cannot get the data from. Look at it, from LinkedIn Sales Navigator, from GitHub, if your data is on GitHub, from Adobe Analytics, from Google Analytics, Salesforce reports, right? Whatever. Asana, if you're familiar with Asana, you can get your data from Asana, from Databricks, from several e-commerce applications, right? You'll see, right, that you can get your data from, even from Zoho, for those who are using Zoho as a service, right? Zoho software as a service, you can get your data from there as well. So Microsoft Power BI can connect to almost any database, right? Any source. And there are several others that we have not even looked at, right? That we have not looked at. Look at them. You can connect to R, right? So an R script, you can connect to a Python script, you can connect to a DB or ODBS, right? you can connect to several applications, right? So whatever one your organization is working with, there is provision from Google Sheets. Can you see? Look at Google Sheets here, right? From whatever application your organization is working with, right, that your data resides from, right, you can pipeline it to Power BI to get your data from it, from the web, Active Directory, right, Hadoop files, HDFS, right, Spike, Hive, and so on and so forth, right? So, but let's look at a quick example. Let me go to file, and let's go to file. I'm going to wrap up very, very soon. My battery never has not brought light. Sorry, I should cut that off the recording. But it's all good, right? So I'm going to work with text files because most of our data are in text files. So I'm going to click on text file, right? I'm going to click on text and CSV, right? So I'm going to say connect. Remember that we're getting data, right? So if I do that, I can click on, let me click on AdventureWorks customers, right? Open AdventureWorks customers is a data set, it's a common data set in data science and data analytics. Is a common data set, right? So can you see it is connecting? It is connecting. It is connecting. Now it gives me a preview, right? It gives me a preview of what the data is like, right? It tells me the file origin, right? Now these are all encoding system for files, right? But it will automatically detect which one it is, right? So it's saying this is a Western European Windows, right? Don't let us go into that. The data is comma separated, that is, it is a, of course, that's why it is a CSV file. It is a comma separated values, right? So comma separated values. So we're going to stick to that. All of these are going to stick to that. Then it's saying the data type detection based on the first 200 rows, right? Is able to detect, to use the first 200 rows to do what? To detect the data type. Of course, we know what data type is, right? But we'll look at data type again in Power BI so that we understand the data type here in this entire place. So if you want to make use of the entire data sheets, right, you can go ahead. And if you don't want it to detect data type, maybe you want to assign your data type yourself, you can also. But I'm going to stick with default, which is based on what's the first 200, right? And I'm going to scroll down, right? It says the data is previewed. In the preview has been truncated due to size. So it means that there is more data in this data than what is shown here, right? So we'll look at it and say, okay, let's look at it. Now, instead of loading it in, right? Load means that you want to bring it in. You are satisfied with what the data is, and you want to load it in. But no, we're not satisfied. We want to be able to work with this data, right? Transform this data, shape this data, just look at a bit of one or twos on this data, right? Flex our muscles on the data and make it ready for analysis. So instead of clicking on load, I'm just going to click on transform, right? If I click on transform is therefore going to bring out the Power Query Editor. Can you see? Power Query Editor. If you have done Excel with me before, you would be familiar with this interface, right? You'll be familiar with this interface. So now we are in the Power Query Editor, right? We're in the Power Query Editor. So from the Power Query Editor, right, we're going to be shaping the data. So what we have done now is that we have connected the data. We've connected the data to Power BI. Now we can take time to shape the data. Are you following me? We can take time to shape the data, right? So we'll look at all of these, what these guys mean. That is basically what we're going to be doing throughout tomorrow, right? I want to release us now so that my battery does not run out eventually, right? I want us to take it one step at a time. And I also want us to follow. So I don't want to jump and move, even though from tomorrow, I'm going to be moving at a very fast pace. So, but I want by tomorrow, everybody should have installed their Power BI so that you can follow through and see what I'm doing, right? And practice after class. It's very, very important. I like the energy that we had during SQL. I want us to keep the same momentum during this class. So basically, right, we'll be looking at this interface tomorrow. If you look at it, it's a bit more robust than what we have in Excel, right? Because here you have your close and apply, you have new query, bringing in new query. You can change your data source settings from here. You can manage parameters. You can look at your query and refresh and manage your editors and all of that from here. You can manage columns. You can keep and remove columns from here, rows from here. You can sort, you can split your columns, you can transform your data. This is a very important tool for us here in Power BI. You can merge and append queries by combining them. You can even perform a bit of AI analytics and machine learning stuff or analysis from here as well. Then you can transform your column, right? You see, you can transform your column. You can add new columns. You can view. You can check tools and all of that. So we'll look at all of this tomorrow. When we are done, right, then we can say that we can load in this data into what? Into Power BI, right? So today, right, we've been able to start connecting and shipping. So tomorrow, hopefully, by God's grace tomorrow, right, we should be able to finish that part of Power BI, connecting and shipping, because we'll be doing a whole lot of examples tomorrow, right? We'll be doing a whole lot of examples tomorrow. So please and please, today we all joined late. Only a few people, I think 2-3 people joined early. We all joined late. I know that, right? We should be wrapping up this program, and I'm doing all my possible best for us to be able to finish on time. So if we can put in the work and put in, we should be able to finish this whole program, not next week, of course, but the upper week, right? So which means that from now, we have maybe about 4 to 5 classes to go. So the end is near, right? But we need to be able to put in the work. Like I said, it's not about finishing the curriculum in a rush. It's about you understanding what we are trying to do. So basically, right, we'll be able to look at what all of this means tomorrow. Why is it calling this table a query? Why not a table? Why is it looking at it as, right? We want to answer all of those questions. We want to look at what these settings, what all of these applied steps mean, what's these codes that are in color here, what do they mean? What do all of these guys mean? Those are the things that I want to look at tomorrow, right? So please come early. We want to be able to look at the columns and be able to determine what is on the columns and how we can manipulate some of these columns to generate data that are not even written in it, right? How can we generate data from the date column? How many columns can we get from the date column? How can we merge these columns? How can we translate some columns and do a whole lot of stuff with these columns? That's basically all that we'll be looking at tomorrow. So please and please come early tomorrow. Come early tomorrow. Come early tomorrow. Right? So any question before we wrap up today? This is 8:40. 8:40. Any question? Any question? Please, if you have not, once again, I want to see those who have not installed so that I can. Those who have not installed their Power BI, please raise your hand if you have not installed your Power BI. And if you have questions, right, you can just ask your questions now. The floor is open.
Good evening, Mr.
Sammy,
Sean.
of course. Hello.
Okay, Mr. Sean, please, I have a certain Power BI before.
Madam, how are you doing? What?
I'm fine. I'm still in traffic.
What do you say?
I have a certain Power BI installed before. Can I still use that one?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Because I remembered SQL, you told us to use a particular one.
That the reason why we did that was because SQL has more updates than that, right? If your Power BI is not updated, we can easily just update it. Yes.
Okay, then Mr. Sean,
still the same.
Can we get this video this night? Because for some of us, I've been in traffic.
Yes.
So that we can watch it before the next class.
I will. Once we finish, I'll download and upload.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Sammy, talk to me.
Good evening. I was saying I don't have the Power BI yet. You said we should raise our hand if we don't have it. I raised my hand.
Oh, okay. Okay, who else has not installed? You see, people are not answering now, right? All right, you came late,
I've not.
madam. Okay.
I've installed, sir.
I've not installed.
I've installed.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so I'm only getting Madam Angela and Sammy. I want to be every other person has installed. That's good. All right. So, any question? Any question? You can ask questions from an Excel. On SQL. If you have questions on SQL, I've seen some people's assignments. Some people have not seen your assignment. Your project. I was supposed to set your project this week. I think I can stop recording now. Hold on. Yes.